Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight to Boston here, aka the King of Boston. Today we're back for episode 42 of the Boston Celtics MyGM, and today we're here for Game 1 of the 2016 NBA Finals, going up against the Utah Jazz, the team that I actually took control of in association mode last season. And I do apologize for, I guess I should say, I forgot to show the player stats for the Utah Jazz before the beginning of this episode, or like even for this episode, but just basically it's not a team that you would think would go to the finals. I think their starting lineup is Darren Collison, Alec Burks, Gordon Hayward, Derek Favors, and Enes Kanter. 5 players that are okay players. I mean, Hayward's decent, Favors I like a lot, but Kanter, you know, it's kind of like an energy guy. Collison's a good backup point guard, but he's nothing more, and Alec Burks is okay. But it's a young group that has really progressed, you know, ever since the beginning of the association mode. Kanter and Favors have turned into a pretty good front court duo. Gordon Hayward's a good, you know, 18-point game scorer. I think Alec Burks averaged 21 points a game this past season, and Collison averaged something like 11 assists, or not 11, he had like 8 assists, I believe. So it's a team that's just pretty good. They don't have the big names, and they really don't have a big star or anything like that, but in the same sense, we're a pretty balanced all-around team as well. Our best player is Jabari Parker, but I wouldn't say he is leaps and bounds above anyone else. Eric Bledsoe is pretty good. Avery Bradley's probably our third best player. Hibbert and Sullinger 4th and 5th. You know, it's two very similar, balanced all-around teams, which is not something you see a lot of in the NBA currently. You see a lot of the, you know, 1 or 2 all-stars. I mean, you look at all the top teams in the league today, and they all have 1 or 2 all-stars, except for a team like the Spurs. But I mean, obviously the Spurs are the Spurs. Duncan's the only reason he's not an all-star is because he only plays 28 minutes a game. But you know, nonetheless, you know, you see the teams with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, and you see the teams like the Heat with, you know, 3 all-stars, and the Pacers had 2 all-stars. You know, the Clippers had 2 all-stars. So you know, it's a star-studded league, and in basketball, such is the nature of the game that you know, 1 or 2 stars can really dominate a team, or dominate a game in a sense, and really win it for a team. And that's what you see a majority of in the NBA these days. But this is a little bit different. It's 2 very balanced teams, 2 very deep teams, I would say, especially us. We go 11 deep, which is something you almost never see. In fact, you do never see it in the playoffs. A lot of the rotations only go 8, 9 deep in the playoffs. We're going 11 deep, so it's a little bit different, but nonetheless, let's get into the gameplay. Gordon Hayward with a dunk right there. You see we've jumped out to about a 6-point lead right about now. I believe the score's 18-12, now it's 20-15. Trey Burke with the ball, the backup point guard. He's a pretty good backup point guard off the bench. Nice energy guy. Derek Favors, good face-up move, getting right by Omar Asik right there. Favors just too athletic and too quick for Asik to keep up. Pierce finds Marcus Page for the long 2. Page will knock that one down, the sharpshooter from UNC. And we're up by 3. Rhett Allen, my go-to guy at the end of quarters, he ends up missing the shot. So we go into the second quarter, up by 3, 22-19 is your score right now. We're off to a pretty good start. Our defense has played pretty well. Obviously playing in Utah, I believe, I'm not sure if they actually had a better record than us in the regular season, but I know there was a glitch, like, where no matter what you did in like 2K13, you never had home court advantage in the finals, so it might just be that glitch again. I'm not too sure, but nonetheless, the Jazz, obviously, that's a tough place to play. Even when the Jazz are a bad team like they have been the last couple of years, it's still a tough place to win, and they've been pretty respectable in recent years. This year, not as much, but they almost made the playoffs in 2013, and they did make the playoffs in 2012, so they've been pretty respectable, and throughout that time period, ever since the Darren Williams trade, they've been really good at home, so it'd be huge to get Game 1 in Utah, get a 1-0 series lead. I think that'd be big for us. Deontay Garrett here is a pretty decent player off their bench. Not a guy you hear a lot of in real life, but he's turned into a good secondary ball handler, good shooter for this team, can, you know, get some points off the bench. Sullinger takes a 3 right there. He knocks it down, and we go up by 7. It's 37-30, but Darren Collison trying to dribble in and out, get back to the 3-point line, kicks it out to Alec Burks, and he's going to answer right back with a 3 of his own. We had a problem throughout this game. Avery Bradley, as he always seems to do in 2K, kind of just leaving. He was helping one pass away. He would leave Alec Burks wide open for 3. And Burks is not a very good 3-point shooter in real life. In fact, he's a pretty bad 3-point shooter in real life. But it is a video game, and things are a little bit different. Obviously, he's a little bit better than he is in real life, just progressing, you know, with filling some of that potential. But Gordon Hayward for 2 right there, slamming it down with 2 hands, and that's going to cut the lead back down to 1. It's a 1-point game. Alec Burks in and out dribble crossover, driving right, kicks it out top to Gordon Hayward, and Hayward knocks down. They're going to rule that a long 2, tiptoe on the line, and that is going to give the Jazz a 1-point lead. But check out the behind the back pass to Eric Bledsoe. This was a sweet pass. Bradley kind of gets double team right there. That was kind of those rub-off screens that we run with our guards a lot. Bledsoe got a clear path to the hoop and a great pass from Bradley to hit him. So 43-44 now is the score. Celtics on top. Burke baseline mid-range gets it to go, and that's going to give the Jazz a 1-point lead. And that's going to be the score heading into the half. The Jazz are on top 47-46, just barely on top, but a 1-point lead nonetheless, and they actually end up getting, and by the way, it's 2 nonethelesses this episode. I know you guys have been getting drilled for that lately, but we end up allowing, what, 47 minus 19 is 28 points, I think. So we allowed 28 points in that quarter. That was not a good showing from our defense. We're going to need to step that up if we want to win this game. We got to get stops. Check out this sweet pick and roll right here. We go really wide on the pick and roll, and our spacing was perfect on this. Favors had to rotate a little bit earlier than he does. He actually rotates pretty late, so Hibbert's got a wide open lane, gets the one-handed slam, and you'll see on the replay just how late Favors was. You can see he's not even going to get a jump. He's not even going to jump to get his block until pretty much after Hibbert had dunked it. So his rotation was really late, and that was just perfect spacing by the Celtics. So 55-53 now. Bledsoe driving and kicking Avery Bradley in the corner for 3. We have yet to get him going this game, but he is still an effective shooter. He does not need to get hot or anything. He can just, seems like he can hit shots whenever. Then he makes a nice cut to the lane, not getting involved shooting as much, but he has made some good cuts to the lane. He's got, I believe, a couple 2-point field goals, which is not something you see out of him a lot in our offense. He's mainly a 3-point specialist when it comes to our offense, but 64-59. Here's one of those rub-off screens, and Norris Cole goes to the reverse layup right there, avoiding the block from the 2 big help defenders. He goes up and under. So Dante Exum, a man off the bench, kicking it out to Marshawn Brooks, the former Celtic. You can see how deep this team is. They've got plenty of weapons off the bench, including Marshawn Brooks, Dante Exum, Deontay Garrett, Trey Burke. But that's an and one right there for, I believe this was Derek Favors. You can see Brooks gets him the ball. Favors great inside position. Ashe couldn't do anything about it, and Parker just completely whiffs on the block and ends up fouling him in the process. So it's a tie game, 69 all. They go down low to Favors once again. Easy layup. Ashe was having trouble covering him all game long. 2-point lead for the Jazz, but Jabari trying to get this right back. 5 seconds left. Kicks it out to Page. Back to Jabari. Pump fakes. Drives in on Marshawn. It just decides that Marshawn Brooks was not going to contain him on a layup at the hoop, and Parker ends up getting it to go. So we tie the game up at 71, and that's going to be the score heading into the 4th quarter. We improved a little bit defensively right there. Still gave up, I believe, 25 points, or 24 points. So here we go. 71 all is the score. Darren Collison driving in. He's going to get it to go, in the first points of the 4th quarter come from Darren Collison, the point guard for the Utah Jazz. Now 2-point game. We're looking for Jabari coming off the screens here. Long 2, and Parker gets it to go. So we tie the game back up at 73 apiece. But Alec Burks doing his thing, trying to create. Alec Burks has become a really good secondary ball handler for the Jazz in real life, and he's showing it here, and one for Derek Favors. And the Jazz already have 78 points right now. Keep that point total in your mental head. 78 points with 7:40 to play. That's a lot. That's a 2 for Jared Sullinger. Now a 1-point game. You can see Jared Sullinger is going to run up the middle just like a big man should do on the fast break, so we can get him the nice lob pass, and he can use his size to just go right over anybody and get an easy layup. If you're a big man and you want to run the fast break, make sure you're running up the middle of the court. That is the best way to do it. Now Paul Pierce gets a steal, slams it down, and you can see the Jazz still at 78 points. So we're holding them defensively a little bit right here at the beginning of the 4th quarter. Pierce easy slam off of one leg, dunks it home with 2 hands. Now 83-78. Hibbert with the ball, kicks it. Now it's Sullinger down low, who's got a small man on him, just kind of pulls up, or not really pulls up, it's a little bit of a fadeaway, gets it to go. Now it's a 9-point lead, and the Jazz are still at 78 points. They've been held scoreless for over 5.5 minutes. Now Jabari for 3, 90-78 is the score, and now 6 minutes have gone by since the Jazz have last scored. It's going to finally come from an Alec Burks jumper. They finally get on the board. No free throws, no field goals, no nothing. Their first 2 points in over 6 minutes of play, and that was pretty much what won us this game. Our defense really stepped it up in the 4th quarter. We got stops when we needed to. Those stops allowed us to go on a run. A couple times we turned defense into offense, getting steals like on the Paul Pierce layup, and like when Jared Sullinger ran to the basket on the demonstration I showed you guys earlier. So the defense won us game 1, and we've taken home 94-82. They only scored 4 total points in the last 7 minutes and 40 seconds of the ball game. That is an outstanding number for our defense, and that is really what I wanted to see. The biggest thing with defense is you got to be able to get stops in the 4th quarter when you want to go on a run, when you're trying to make a comeback like that, when you're really trying to do anything like that. So here are the final team stats. You can see we shoot 54%. The Jazz only shoot 42%. I actually probably should have shown their 4th quarter stats, because they end up only scoring 11 points total in that quarter. And I think it would have been interesting to see what some of their shooting percentages was and all that stuff. But you only had one player play over 30 minutes today, which surprised me, but this just does speak to our depth. Bledsoe got the player of the game. He only scored 6 points on like 12 field goals, but he ended up dishing out 14 assists, had some nice steals too. So he did his job offensively, and then he played pretty good defense on Darren Collison and Trey Burke. So that's pretty much going to do it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy game 1. The next elimination game will be out shortly. So thanks for watching. Hope you did enjoy, and this is out.